can I play a clip from a documentary that was put out by PBS? And it's, I don't even know how to describe this. There's essentially Dr. Fauci walking around Washington, D.C., I think in January 2021 or December 2020, right after the vaccine's been developed. And he's walking around with the mayor of Washington, D.C., a woman named
Muriel Bowser. Yeah.
Yeah, and he knocks on a door, kind of like a sort of a vacuum salesman or something, and they're talking to an African American gentleman, and this just needs to be seen to be believed. So let me put that up for us to look at.
The people in America are not settled with the information that's been given to us right now. So I'm not going to be lining up taking a shot or a vaccination for something that wasn't clear in the first place. And then you all create a shot in miraculous time. It takes years to create vaccination.
Well, it used to take years.
Okay, it used to.
You know how many years were invested in this approach? About 20 years of science to get us to be able to do it.
20 years is not enough. And 9 months is definitely not enough for nobody to be taking no vaccination that you all came up with.
The only reason I'm talking to you right now, as close as we are, is that I've been vaccinated.
Right.
But if it allows thousands of people like you don't get vaccinated, you're going to let this virus continue to percolate in this country and in this world.
Something like the common flu then, right?
And not
it's
like
much more
flu.
serious than the flu.
Well, the flu kills a lot of people annually, too.
You know how many people died of the flu the last year? I mean, not this year, virtually none, but the previous year, about 20 to 30,000. You know how many people have died from COVID-19 in the United States? 600,000 Americans.
Well, the number that you all given that died, that's once again, that's you all's number.
You gonna pass?
Yeah, definitely. Because when you start talking about paying people to get vaccinated, when you start talking about incentivizing things to get people vaccinated, there's something else going on with that. Something else going on.
It is something going on with
something else.
You're right. But I'm glad millions of people like me and most everybody here didn't get an incentive. You know what their incentive was? Protecting their health and protecting the city. But I won't keep you anymore.
It's okay, because my incentive, y'all campaign is about fear. It's about inciting fear in people. You all attack people with fear. That's what this pandemic is. It's a fear. It's fear, this pandemic. That's all it is.
Okay, Marty, first of all, that African American gentleman that Tony Fauci was talking with, who was more close to correct on the science?
I mean, here's an everyday guy. I think they were in Southeast DC, a community I know well, and just an everyday guy. They knock on his door, and his instincts are more accurate than that of one of our nation's top public health government doctors. He says basically 9 months is not enough, right? And then he just completely disarms Dr. Fauci when he says, well, maybe 20 years is not enough. Dr. Fauci didn't have a response. Then he said, he's a young, healthy appearing gentleman who has a extremely low risk of COVID mortality. And he basically says this is like the common flu, which, for him, his individual risk profile, he's closer to the truth.
And Fauci responds with a non sequitur. Yeah, a lot of people died from COVID. The question isn't that. The question is, what's his risk? And what impact will the vaccine have on him? And Fauci can't answer that it's going to reduce his mortality rate because the randomized trials didn't look at the mortality reduction effect of COVID.
As you have said perfectly, Jay, is that one of the primary failures of the medical establishment during COVID was the failure to recognize the 1,000-fold risk difference between an older individual and a younger person. And then you add a comorbid condition, it's a 10,000 or 100,000 risk difference, right? So he's got an incredibly low risk. He has concerns about the vaccine, understandably. And he says the numbers of how many people have died, he says, that's your all numbers. Well, that's what I've been saying, and you've been saying, I've been saying it in the Wall Street Journal op-eds, that how many people died from COVID versus an incidental positive test on a super sensitive PCR machine. And then he says something else is going on here. And this guy, Within seconds of this surprise visit from a knock on his door, his instincts are spot on that there is something else going on here. I mean, it's delicious.
Did you notice at the beginning of the clip, Mayor Bowser says, the only reason I'm standing anywhere close to you is because I've been vaccinated. I mean, what she's saying is he's unclean. And the only reason that she's willing to get even as close as she did, like 6 feet away from him, is because she has been vaccinated. And so she's no longer scared to be as close as she was.
And then what changed? Like today, would she come within 6 feet of him? Because COVID still circulates. So on what date did she suddenly feel comfortable being next to unvaccinated people?